filling in paperwork to make sure that I don't have boils.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you get chocolate oatmeal. I've bought in. Yes. I bet it's not reliable, but ridden by many. Anyway, what have we got?
And there we go, we're out of stock.
There's a bit of a theme going on here. So we're on a ramp and Philip said I'm taller than him, so which is nice because everybody else I've spoken to is always taller than me. So he's gone higher up the ramp to make me look like a pygmy. But we've come today to Glebe Farm Foods and Philip's very kindly going to show us around. So this is a business that Philip and his sister Rebecca set up. We farm for the family over in South Cambridgeshire at Haslingfield in Barrington. And then this is where they're now milling oats and they're making foods which are going direct onto the shelves.
Yeah. So this is our middle farm. The James Farm's over at Haslingfield. This was always the centre of our 3 farms. So we've also got one in Northamptonshire as well. Started at about 2000 eventually. So, but kind of got in, did lots of things. I think we started doing farmers markets bread, which was soon replaced by bread mixes, and then ended up kind of getting into gluten-free, and then we did gluten-free oats. So we started that off in Europe, first ones in Europe, and then and over the years that's really gone well. Oats are great in gluten-free because they kind of got all the nice nutrients and all the nice things you can get in ordinary cereals and ordinary food, whereas otherwise it was rice and potato starch. So yeah, use of oats in.
So it's really, are you only concentrating on oats?
Totally gluten-free.
And your main thing is gluten-free.
Absolutely,
that is your
dedicated to allergen-free. So
yeah.
we started that off.
Yeah.
You have to do a very precision job about doing it. So it's a little bit, I would say, almost pharmaceutical. You get it wrong, somebody's getting ill, and that can't happen. And especially more and more as people,
have allergies.
The law tightens up. More people are having allergies.
Because I've got quite a bit of land, but I can't grow oats specifically for you. We grow oats, but they go to other markets because we can't guarantee that the land hasn't grown barley in, which is part of our rotation, which then would form if we grew oats.
So it's absolutely doing gluten-free oats. Actually, I haven't got it here, but yeah, our brand name is called Pure Oaty because it's pure oats and it's 100% pure. So all the problem with oats, almost every single person who's, in my belief certainly, every single person who's got a sort of wheat allergy tends to be able to eat oats.
Okay.
However, they have to be absolutely 100% pure.
Yeah.
So you can say oat.
And just to recap, oats aren't gluten, but barley is and wheat is.
Yes, oats have a protein adenine in there. Most of the time, that doesn't cause any allergic reactions.
Okay.
Some differ on that, but actually I say if they're 100% pure, we've never had a complaint in billions of servings.
And you've got a brand called Pure Oaty.
Pure Oaty, that's right.
And
for purity.
That has come under a little bit of criticism by one party, hasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
And you were sued effectively, but they lost the case.
That's right. So we had a David and sort of Goliath trademark case. Yeah, so it's about the name.
And you were David in this story.
I was David in the story. Yeah, that's right. And that was against Oatly. So that was in 2020 and 2021. So that came to court in 2021.
And they said that you were using the word Oaty.
That's right.
And they said that you weren't allowed.
Yeah.
And it was proven that wasn't the case. How long did you go to court for? How many days?
2.
2 days.
2 days in High Court.
Yeah, and a High Court.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Did it go straight to High Court?
It was. There was a bit of chat before that. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much they went pretty much.
So it must have been quite a frightening time for you.
Straight for the throat. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking about a massive international company.
Exactly. It's done by big companies to try and just squash small ones out.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not this is part of their strategy, they happen to be also building a plant in Peterborough, that's right. It's a huge plant. I've been down there.
Which from here is 10 miles. So you say that they've mothballed the plant that they were building?
Well, they're mothballed it. They've shut it down.
Oh, before it even got built?
So yeah, it was the shed was there. That was there by somebody else. Yeah. Putting frames in, white walls and things. This was just the same time as building our TetraPack line.
Yeah.
With UHC line, and so we did hear about it. So last year they pretty much put a stop on that. I don't think they really like manufacturing. It's
now is that because
it's a huge place?
Is that,
I mean, it's
if
as
you've
big
done
as this farmyard?
TetraPack line, that's for milk.
So TetraPack line is so oat milk tends to be not as fast moving as dairy milk. There's a
Okay.
sort of an interesting history of how, if you say dairy milk generally in, and it's not throughout the entire Europe, so things vary a lot over the Europe. It tends to be Britain, Germany, maybe a bit in the northern countries. You'll have fresh milk,
Okay.
but actually in southern Europe, it's all UHT. Very
Okay.
little.
So how long does
very little fresh
oat milk last for?
So if you put it in glass bottles, it'll last a similar time to milk.
Okay.
It's sort
and if
of
you put it
couple
in
of
a Tetra Pak?
couple of weeks. Put it in a Tetra Pak, you'll get 12 months, but you don't have to refrigerate it.
And what's the difference between glass and Tetra Pak? Is it the sunlight?
There is that. Most of it's just sterility. So you're completely sterilising the milk as you're
Okay.
going in there.
Okay.
It doesn't really change the flavour much at all now with the modern techniques. You basically sterilise the milk, sterilise the packaging,
Yeah.
insert it in sterile condition, and then there's nothing in there to grow. So
Okay.
you've got no yeasts.
Nothing
so you get,
for it to go off on.
So what you tend to get yeast and moulds, which are spores in there. Everything, all the atmosphere is just full of yeast and moulds.
Yeah.
You can get bacteria. So milk tends to degrade by bacteria floating around, but
Yeah.
yeast and moulds can get active there. So you get.
So
you
it's
get
actually
things-
quite efficient for people to buy because
yeah.
it can put it on the shelf, doesn't have to use it within the week. They can buy multiple packs.
Exactly. You can store it. You don't have to store it in the fridge.
Yeah.
So it's quite an alien concept, really. If you went back and said, we're going to put stuff in glass, glass is incredibly CO2 intense.
Yeah.
So just to wash a glass bottle takes more energy than to make a pack
Okay.
through UHT.
Interesting.
So,
And what
it's,
about?
So it is much more environmentally sensitive to do it that way, because we can reduce. So, and then one of the key points for many buyers, one of the key points is environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
Making a pack of UHT, which you don't have to keep cold
Yes.
until you've opened
So
it.
you don't have to
do it once
refrigerate
you
it.
open it, you
Yeah.
have to keep it cold. But until that point, you don't have to have any chill chain. You don't, which is trucks running, warehouses that are
Yeah, yeah.
refrigerated, shops
Yeah,
that are
makes
refrigerated with fridges. None of that, all gone.
Okay.
So that just wipes off massive amount of electricity
Yeah.
use. Now, if you have a glass bottle, the idea is you're reusing them. They don't get reused very often
Because they don't come back.
because how are they going to get back?
Yeah. True.
So, but the energy to make a glass bottle is like 500 grams of CO2. To make a Tetra Pak unit is about 40.
Okay.
Can
So
be
if you
less, in
start to
fact.
get into carbon and started measuring CO2
it's
and carbon,
massive, yeah.
actually, environmentally, this is a good product.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But can you still call it milk? Because there has been a bit of criticism about this.
We're going in all subjects here.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I think you can. So there's
Right.
a bit of this thing, but actually.
But your brand is Pure Oaty.
Well, we don't
What
tend
does-
to because it tends to trigger people. But
But
however,
Pure Oaty doesn't say milk, or does it then say oat milk underneath?
you tend to gloss away with that because it tends to trigger people. But actually, milk was called, so plant milks were called plant milk back in 1600.
Okay.
So the word milk has been used for certainly for
Associated
soya
with-
for probably 1,000 years. But
Okay.
but it has even Francis Bacon. This is previous was referenced by Johnson, who wrote the first dictionary.
Yeah.
Actually called. He said it was talking about almond milk and pistachio milk back on the first dictionary.
fascinating.
So actually, could you? Well, who defines?
Because
who
a
defines
lot of
language?
us think that when we read the headline articles in the papers and things, well, it's a modern terminology people have worked on the back of. We're actually saying it's going back to 1600.
Yeah.
So, and if not before. So actually, this isn't a new
This is
speech.
not new. This
No.
is not new. So
Okay.
people were making plant milks a long time ago, and actually, in most of the world. So the strange thing. Most of the world is actually intolerant to dairy.
Okay.
So it's an enigma that, if you like, people in the northwest of Europe are tolerant to milk. Probably about only 10% intolerance. So
Okay.
90% are okay with it.
Yeah.
Tends to be reducing because intolerance is increasing.
Even though,
But if you
as I
went-
understand, China are getting quite big into to milk.
Yeah. But if you went to China, 85% of people are intolerant to it. Vietnam's 95%.
Crumbs, because they've never
So-
had it in their diet.
No, it's right. So it's never
Okay.
been there. It is promoted quite heavily,
Yeah.
but actually people are probably getting a bit sick of it. They're probably
Okay.
having gut problems.
So
and
you're
stuff like
actually
that.
seeing that your market is going to grow long term.
Yeah, it is.
I
it
mean,
is.
we've had quite a surge, haven't we? Because I've seen it as the farmer in the opportunities to grow oats. You know, that's a good way to see that there's an opportunity. But suddenly there's new markets, there's new contracts, there's new seed contracts to grow, etc., which is showing a boost.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of farmers are probably now putting oats in their rotation, whereas they they weren't before. And what have we got? At least four places we could probably send oats to within a 30, 40 mile radius of here.
It's probably about there's two. There's two.
Well,
But so probably in the UK, you've probably only got four places
Right.
really, apart from exporting. Obviously, we're quite near the coast, so that's going off to Europe. But yeah, generally oats have had they've tended to be northwest and Scotland. Although there's always there is a mill, a big conventional standard mill, non-gluten-free mill, fairly near to here as well. But yeah, so it is, oats are growing all the time. Dairy has a steady decline, which is, and that's nothing to do with plant milks, that's just a steady decline. People are, probably from 20 years ago, people are drinking about half as much or using half as much milk. So it's a declining business. And you know, we're not against dairy farmers in any way. We're
No.
Very pro all sorts of farming. So, and we can see the point in you know, the relevance in the industry as well. But it's,
But you are effectively farmers, which are diversified.
Oh yeah.
And
This
you
is what
still have quite a bit of land, and you're still farming.
Yeah. Still going forward.
So shall we go and have a quick look?
I'll welcome you round then.
Come on then. So this is a walking floor trailer.
It is, yeah. So we're using oat chaff. So we're putting.
So
through
your website is Glebe Farm Foods. That is the main website.
Yep.
The gluten-free and the purest British oats.
That's right. So
Nice.
British gluten-free.
And then we come to here
So we're doing. I mean, still our core business is an awful lot of gluten-free oats, and they're going to all sorts of food manufacturers. They're going
As in like this.
Yeah. So as in.
Are these
bulk,
rolled?
in sack? These are. They're looking like jumbos. They'll go for like granola, porridge.
But how would you make them?
Muesli. Well, that's in the oat mill. So we have a look at the flaking plant in there as
Okay.
well. A lot goes out in sacks or big bags. We also make retail packs. We
Because
also make lots
I
of
went
our lovely retail
into
packs as well.
Hotel Chocolat the other day,
Oh yes.
and I had to go get a passport photo and all that jazz from my driving license, and I thought
You drop in and get some
I'd
chocolates.
drop in right, and that's what they were using
I know.
there.
It's good, isn't
So
it?
you
Yeah.
must have a deal with them.
Yeah. So they do that. I think they use it in their shops. They also probably use it in production as well.
I felt
And
proud
then-
when I saw it.
Yeah, they do it. So there's a lot of things go into. I mean, oats are great because they can do flakes, which you
Yeah.
don't do with wheat really that much.
Yeah.
And then you can do flour. So that kind of replaces. If you want to make a gluten-free biscuit, you can do that with oat flour and
Yes.
a bit of oat flakes, and now you made a cookie.
Yes.
But we're also, so even after we've been doing this since about 2009, and even after 15 years now, there's new uses coming in. So we've had it in.
Okay.
We've had it in. Somebody made tea bags with like oat milk latte, so you can
Really?
make it a bit milky. Milk vegan chocolate. So you want a whitening agent, you put some oat flour in there or some
Nice.
oat milk powder, so we can even dry out the
So
oat milk.
its uses are starting to grow.
It is, yeah.
Because
we've
of the
been doing-
gluten
We've been doing
part,
an awful
yeah.
lot working with the
Yeah.
customers, feedback, what do you want? Okay, we'll want this sort of thing. But also now it's going into bread as well. So there's
Yeah.
quite a lot going to gluten-free bread.
Okay.
And the good thing is you get away from the starches, you can kind of get proteins back in.
That'd have to be a separate mill though, wouldn't it? Because of course most mills are taking wheat.
Well, everything's completely different with the gluten-free market.
Okay.
That's why you can't do the mass scale milling
Yeah.
you can in standard milling. It's standard. So it's done on a very much smaller scale.
Yeah.
That's why it's a bit more expensive, to be honest. That's
And
really why.
there's the
Load
part
more
here
testing.
which says pure oaty.
Pure oaty, that's
And,
right.
and this bit here was what caused the.
That caused the problem
Yeah.
because they said, it's oaty, so they focused on that one. Now, oaty is actually a word.
Did they
obviously.
write to
It's in
you,
a
or did
dictionary.
you get a phone? Did
No,
you get a phone
you get
call?
written to.
You get written to,
from
came
lawyers.
on
You
your
get written
desk.
to from
Oh,
lawyers, and
lovely.
then you get those ones, and then you go.
Lovely.
No, I don't think. I think they said, oh yeah, but Oatly's got a liquid L. What
Yeah.
does that mean? So, well, okay, we'll ignore that. So it's a trade.
They probably weren't reliant on you being so robust as a character, were they?
No,
Because
no,
a lot of
so-
people
so-
would have rolled over,
so-
wouldn't they?
I'll be fair. In many cases, it's kind of the thing you want to do because you don't want. There's hundreds of thousands to go in.
Yeah,
to
yeah, I
just
bet it
defend
was.
yourself, and you're
Yeah.
not going to get that back.
No.
That never
So
happens.
that's gone.
That's to your solicitors.
Yeah,
That's to
yeah.
your lawyers and your barristers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a one-way battle. You really got to stick to your guns. Anyway, I
You're
could do
pleased.
it. I could do it. I
And you
thought
did.
I could not do it as well. So,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
gonna
it's,
change all
it's,
your
it's
branding.
stressful.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
I make
And then-
light-hearted of it, but I feel the
No,
pain
it's-
of it. Must have
it
been
was, yeah.
in
We had-
getting that letter
we had-
through the post.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of support later on, so that was
Yeah.
really nice. Check the stiffen the microphone off.
So this is now all part of, what part of the factory are we looking at now?
So this is oat milk.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen in here?
I've got the milk in, have they?
That's right. So they're currently making
Okay.
milk in there. We can get you some out. I can't. Unfortunately, it's a bit secret in there, so I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you. I can show you a few things, but
Yeah.
this is very. So we started this about 2020,
Yeah.
right during COVID. So the guys who were helping us build it all left, and that was the end of it. So we had to kind of finish it off with our own guys as well. And then it's just been a journey over the last few years, and then we've got the TetraPack plant now as well. So you can make it. We were packing off-site, and now we're making everything on site. We're going right from growing to milling into oat flakes,
Yes.
making the milk, and then making it into final pack product as well. And we also make some other, because we're kind of a special allergen-free site as well. We also do some other weird, wonderful things like doing coffee, doing basically other ingredients that you might use. Some aren't even retail. Some are more for industrial stuff as well, where you want an aseptic packing so that they can ship liquid around.
Yeah.
So for bread ingredients, actually, weirdly enough,
Yeah.
you don't egg replacements and things like that.
Okay.
You don't want egg in your bread
No.
necessarily, because it's just a pain. It smells of egg all the time.
Yeah.
So if you can have an egg replacement that sits on your pallet shelf, just waiting for you to use it,
Yeah.
and you have an aseptic pack, that's lovely. You don't have to refrigerate it. You don't have smelly egg as
Yeah,
well.
I think that
and then you've got rid of your
refrigeration
allergens as well.
point
So
is fascinating, actually, because you think about the cost of how much refrigeration must cost from the moment it's made right through the chain
yeah,
and through to the end, and then again in the customer's house.
yeah,
And you're talking about effectively only having to refrigerate it once you've opened it.
that's right. Easy. So that's why the whole system is I think there's a difference. I mean, Britain's dairy farmers do an amazing job of reducing the carbon level, but still making oat milk here. We're about half the level of any other oat milk manufacturer, and about a fifth the level of dairy, and it's quite a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Why
People
would
say
you be
it's
half?
less. We're half because it's all on site. I'm not transporting the stuff
Oh,
around.
so-
I've got the biomass boiler,
Yeah.
so we use the husks for that.
Oh, can we see that?
Yeah, we see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we went and saw Ed Banks's straw burning plant.
Well, this one's quite similar. So we're using the husks coming off the oats.
So that's.
And then we're going to.
And what's that doing? Is that RHI again?
I think that one is just, yeah.
And is
that's making steam. So all this, how you heat up liquids is you inject steam into the liquid. So you try not to. If you use heat exchangers,
Yeah.
which are one side's hot with steam and the other side's milk, it tends to burn on, and then you get funny flavours.
Okay,
So
yeah.
if you actually inject the steam in, obviously clean,
Yes.
pure steam on there, you can then get the same effect. The steam going off there. So the hissing noises.
So interesting.
So
So,
you can
the
actually-
biomass
so this
boiler
one's a special biomass boiler.
is
It's quite
creating the
unusual.
steam for your plant.
Exactly.
So you've got no waste, one for a better word.
Exactly. Very little. Yeah, because it comes off. So we'll
So it's
actually
a
use.
total coming off the land, and how many other farmers you got growing for you now?
70 odd.
Okay, and 70
So
farmers.
70 all pretty local.
And so it's actually very good on food miles if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah. So I think normally it's travelled, well, it gets to here, might have travelled an average of about 30 miles or so,
Crumbs.
30, 40 miles. So it's very, very low.
And there's a lot of
mileage.
land around here, so there's plenty of
Exactly.
market to grow oats.
We're in the best place to grow oats as well.
Yeah.
Well, for gluten-free, certainly, you've got low issues with mycotoxins. You've got great transport links. We don't have a lot of barley around, do we?
No.
Not for myself.
Well, don't worry, I haven't got it all drilled this year, so it looks like I'm going to have a lot of
That's
second
right.
weeks.
Oh, yeah. We've fair bit wheat. That's
Yeah,
much better.
yeah,
Much
we've got
better
the
idea.
weather drill out
It's
today.
a weed. You don't want to.
Yeah, I know,
horrible
it's
stuff,
a weed.
horrible.
I used to say it was a weed.
Yeah, it is.
And now effectively people call me the barley baron because I grow so much barley.
Yeah, that's just combining, isn't it?
As soon as we got here, we've been filling in paperwork to make sure that I don't have boils
That's right.
and anything else wrong with me. We're now washing hands. I don't have a beard, so I don't have to wear this, but putting our hairnet on. Got our baker's outfit on. And because we're getting ready now, so that the environment we take with us is clean. So we're now coming to the intake part of the building.
Well, so this is dehulling.
Right.
Dehulling.
But where's it come in, Philip?
So it comes in the pre-cleaning plant. I've kind of short-circuited there.
Okay.
So this is the.
So hold on. So it comes in, you tip it up on a lorry, into a pit.
No, onto our grain stores.
Right.
Don't addle pits. I don't like pits as well.
Okay.
Because they cause Lots of issues
contamination.
there, contamination there. So basically, throughout the farming, and this is very important that we're farming as well,
Yeah.
because you know how much I complain or give advice, so to say, to you about how I want the oats as well. And that's key, because really got to make them really pure to start with. Otherwise, you're going to struggle to make them pure afterwards, aren't you? So we're taking in gluten-free already, so that's my specification. Making sure there's absolutely nothing in there, even if we didn't find it.
Correct.
Then we've got some oats. So these are the oats coming through here. At the top we see them. We'll take a picture of that later in a bit. And then, so these have got a husk on the outside. So this is a dehulling plant after we've cleaned it.
Okay. So to be clear, a normal oat comes off the combine. It's got a husk on it.
Got a husk on it, yeah.
And that's not the bit of chaff that's within the plant holding it on the stem in the field.
No, no.
It then has an outside layer on it, and you bring it in here and you take the outside layer off.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
So
Is that because is that like bran, the outside layer?
it's kind of like straw. It's chaff.
Okay.
So chaff that yeah, it's got the texture of straw really. No real nutrition to it.
So that would give you what a very palate, not a great taste, I'm assuming. That way you take it off.
It is like straw. Yeah, you can't eat that stuff.
Okay.
It's the husk you get in things. The so it does protect the oat as well.
Okay.
So it is. You can get the naked oats as well, but naked oats are kind of they kind of don't win on any front really because they're not entirely husky. You get the odd husk in there. They're kind of still fluffy and dusty as well. People don't like to grow them either. So they don't. They're good for
when they refer to a naked oat, it means it doesn't have the husk on.
Yeah, naturally dehulls in the combine. So yeah.
Got it.
So as this doesn't naturally dehull in the combine, it's quite hard work. So these oats are then spun against a rubber ring. So they get on like a big turntable, shot against a rubber ring and bounce off there. And then the husk then explodes off the surface. So you get kind of a, and you're trying to get the grain out the centre. I don't know if you can actually see this, but I'm going to try and dehull this one naturally. I'll be all day doing this, but if I was trying to do it in scale. But then you have a husk and you have a groat.
Come and have a look. So that's what you're trying to end up with, and that's what you're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, you can't eat that unless you're a cow.
Right.
Cow, normally bedding material, to be honest.
And that will end up in the biomass.
That's going to be used for biomass later on. So that gets taken away. We're going to polish this grain up as well.
That's only about 50% of the size, isn't it?
It's a bit more, but not much more. Yeah, depends on how well you do it. Yeah, but it can be that low.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to keep it sort of 3/4. It'd be lovely.
So it's quite small now.
That's pretty small, but that's the actual edible bit. It's quite a soft grain, so it's not like wheat.
Right.
It kind of I'm going to lose it now. You can inject it with it. Well, you could force it with your fingernail. So even though this is about 13% moisture or so.
So this room's doing that.
This room's doing that. It takes these oats, takes the chaff one way, makes one of those groats. I'll get a little handful of groats now.
Oh look!
And these are groats. So these have been polished as well. They're beautifully.
So put your hand out there. So that's what came in. That's what's now going to turn right, and the chaff's going to go left. Brilliant.
Yeah. So that bit you can.
I've actually never seen oats quite like that.
So these are called groats.
Right.
As in GROATS.
Right.
So an oat groat. A bit weird. Anyway. But those are the bits you can eat. However, you've got to cook them. You can't have them raw. You don't really want to have them raw.
Right.
They're kind of like raw wheat, and you can get micro. Well, actually, you're going to eat it as porridge. You might mix it with liquids. You might make bread out. Excuse me. Make bread out of it. You actually cook these and make them into the flakes. They don't have much taste at the moment. If you want to smell that, there's no real oaty smell or anything going on there.
Oh yeah, hardly anything.
No, it's just pretty neutral. A bit like grain, isn't it? So just sort of dusty, if anything. You don't really get the flavour. You get very little of these as well, kind of a green, strawy flavour.
So where's this going next? Where are we going?
So next door, we can
So I put it back in the bag?
Give it to me, I'll chuck it in the bin.
All right.
You don't put stuff back in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is actually the flakes. So we're actually taking the groats, the Roman's there loading up. He's going to take them in there, we blow them. So what's unique about gluten-free is that we have to test every single one of those bags.
Oh, really?
On a massive sample. So this is cleaner than basic seed. We've got no grains of anything else in there per kilogram.
And if
we
you
will
find
test-
something, they reject it.
That'll be rejected. Yeah, so Roman doesn't check it, but the other guys do. And they will, because you can't mark your own homework. But, so he's checking that, that's getting blown up to the top. And then we're going to add steam in there. So steam gets blown into the groats, they come down. They then have a big chamber that drops into where so steam will take it up to 100 degrees C, it'll then stay in a big chamber for a period of time, and that's actually cooking it in there. So we're getting, that's giving us the flavour, you're killing off all the micro and all the yeast and moulds, you're also softening it because you're going to flake it in a bit, and if you didn't soften it, it would shatter into a sort of, it's still not that,
So
not that hard.
how did it get like that?
So this spins through a mill, so this has been steamed,
Right.
cooked for a bit of time,
Just to be clear, the steam's coming from the biomass.
and the steam coming to the
So we
biomass.
steamed it, so you made it soft.
Made it soft,
Then you've rolled it.
pasteurised it, rolled it.
Right.
Now you've also done something, you've removed an enzyme off the surface to
Okay.
give it a longer shelf life.
So what's this doing?
So just above here there's the flaking mill.
Okay.
Two massive rolls running together.
Yeah.
Drop through there, squash to a certain thickness depending on what you want to make. If you want to make porridge, it's thinner. If you want to make granola, it's a thicker oats.
Okay.
This bit, we're actually blowing hot air here, which is also made from the biomass,
Yeah.
to dry it down a bit. You've added steam, so it's taking away that moisture. We're then cooling it down so that we can then pack it off. So in here, that's about 100 degrees C, and down here, we're dropping it down to 20 or 30 degrees C. So these are all the flakes. It's a fluid bed dryer. So
This biomass part is really important.
it is.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you'd have been using electric
You'd probably use gas,
or gas.
but we can actually flake. So all this is flaked with a totally renewable steam or renewable.
That's what I'm finding amazing. But you're actually able to power it from what you're taking
I
off.
know, it's amazing, isn't
So
it?
it's extraordinary.
So next 3 or 4 years, I want to do that for all the plant as well.
Right.
We have a surplus here for flaking, so all this is completely fossil
So
fuel.
you have the ability to create more biomass
Yes, we've got more.
without
more
having to
hot
buy in anything.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And the great thing out in comparison with like if you're burning wood, that's been growing for 20, 30 years. This stuff has only been growing 1 year.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct. It wouldn't
Yeah.
get used for anything
That's
useful.
the point. It's a byproduct.
Yes, it's great.
That's
So you're
actually-
reusing your
That's
own.
amazing.
It's a completely circular
Yeah,
method
yeah.
of doing stuff. So it's marvelous.
Yeah, you're not having to bring wood chip in.
No, it's fine. So do that. So yeah, so we'll just get around there in a minute.
Can
So
you
we
just
can-
get a handful of that, Philip?
Take some off the floor. You're not going to eat it. But getting the flavour
Come
right.
on,
So these are oats here.
So that's now the flaked oats.
Yeah. So this is like a jumbo oat. You take a bit more. The smell is all the important bit.
Oh yeah.
So you can smell the oaty flavour is really nice.
Yeah.
Actually, our mill's really great because we cook it once. You only
So
get the best flavour out of it.
People would have this for granola.
This is quite a thick flake. So this is granola or muesli.
Okay.
You have a thinner flake for porridge. Makes really lovely porridge. I'll give you some later on. But yeah, so we get. It is. You can eat it straight away.
Yeah, it's got a nice smell.
Yeah, it's a great smell, and that's the key part of our product as well. A nice flakes, nice smell. In here, we've got hot groats. They've been cooked. They're still as groats.
They've just been
You
steamed.
can see them falling through there. So
Yeah.
they've been steamed. These are the two big roller mills here. So they're about 1.5 tons each.
So to be
Running
clear,
down pretty
you've got
fast.
two big going round and you're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to force it between them.
That's right.
And you set the distance of the two rollers.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Set the gap there. So these are. So these are coming off at 100 degrees C. So now you've got the you kind of got the flavour, you've got all the other things there. So put some in your hand. They're a bit warm. So keep juggling them around. So you can smell the flavour coming off
yeah,
them now.
really nice.
Yeah, so it's very strong. Keep moving them. Put them back on there if you want to.
That's hot.
But yeah, it's a key part getting that flaking bit right, so that you've got a really nice quality oat as well.
Yeah. And you
yeah.
need to make sure it all gets steamed.
Oh
because
yeah,
otherwise
yeah, every little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, you get a nasty rancidity as well later on. It doesn't keep. So this is important for shelf life, flavour shelf
So
life,
this helps the
sterility,
shelf life at the
everything, yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, so getting a good. And this took quite a long time to do. It's about 10 years ago we did it. It took a long time to get it right. getting to perfection. I mean, Roman's been with us for like 15, 16 years or so.
Yeah.
Probably more, probably near 20 years actually. But getting good flakes every day, reliably, utterly important. Totally important. Good?
Nice. Right, so basically, when that's now coming out of this one behind us,
Yeah.
that's coming back out and then that's dropping down.
Yeah, so you make the flakes, do a whole load of quality checks.
You took the heat out.
We do took the heat out, took it back up again to the top there. You can do a load of quality checks, metal detection.
Pre-bag.
Checking your flake
So you're
thickness.
checking it pre-bagging.
Yeah, checking it
Okay.
pre-bagging. So you have to do, yeah, they're very important getting that right. Then we're going to put it into bags after you've done all those QC stuff. So this is loading up sacks. We're stitching sacks up. So a lot of people still take stuff in sacks.
Really?
I know as farming we think that's an alien thing, why people would do that.
Yeah.
But it does tend to be that. There's a bit of a transition to bulk bags, these big white bags, but actually still a huge market in sacks. So, and if you're going to make a mix of muesli, it's a measured quantity you put in. So you can see it does make some sense as well.
Who would this go to as an example? Who would buy this?
So these are food manufacturers. They might be making biscuits. I think who. I mean, Nairn's one of our good customers as well over the years.
Who?
So we started off with Nairn's, Bells of Lazenby, a few others like that.
Okay.
And they're making biscuits, cakes, selling them as porridge oats. And that will eventually go into pretty much every single supermarket.
And they'll take it
supermarket
in these
packers
bags.
as well.
Is that because people can handle them? Is that why they're done in these small bags? As
Yes,
opposed
it is. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But you imagine after about handling a few hundred tons of these a year,
Yeah.
you soon think, well, when should we be changing to big bags?
Yeah.
Purely on the handling sort of stuff that you don't really want to handle that much gear.
So you're only doing these size bags to suit the market because that's what the market wants.
The market
as
likes-
opposed to, yeah, okay.
But what that is changing, but it's remarkably slowly.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even remember ever using sacks in agriculture, do we?
No,
I don't barely. Well,
not
big,
really.
big bags are only used
I
in
remember the
fertiliser.
50 kg bags for
Yeah.
the seed.
That's right. We couldn't handle that any longer.
No, not now.
Can't get the haven't got the people to do it. But yeah, still a lot of certainly in flour. So we also next door we make flour as well. But yeah, so this is bagging on flakes. This is the final end of the road for flakes. If we were going to make flour, we actually take the flakes and then grind them up into flour as well. So that's everything comes through here.
Perfect.
We make flakes here.
Oh, here
So
we go.
that's
Look.
that's now filling up.
Oh, I see.
So we just had a bit of a problem there. So it's going now.
And that automatically gets weighed. So the
that's-
right weight
It's
is
actually
put in it.
has been weighed over there. Well, it gets weighed before it's dumped in there, stitched up. Go through here, gets a label, gets a date code stamp on there. It's now going to get kicked off, taken away, and palletised next door.
Okay. Oh, I see. Off it goes. Comes along the conveyor belts, going into something at the top there, and it starts to stack.
Yeah, so
does it?
this is automatic palletiser. It's a cracking bit of kit. So this is actually forming.
How much is something like that? Just to put
quite
it.
expensive.
Do you know?
2 or 3 Range Rovers. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Just for this?
Just for this. Yeah.
So you're trying to look at saving 5 years worth of labour then? That's the theory.
Yeah,
is it?
it is. But nobody really likes stacking pallets.
No.
And this. So it's not about removing labour. It's about
It's filling a
increasing your
gap you can't
productivity.
fill.
Yeah, nobody ever grew up wanting to stack pallets
No,
for
no.
a year.
No.
So it was hard work.
So
A lot of
actually,
people
that's
still doing
interesting.
it.
That's where the robotics are coming in.
It is, yeah. Finding
You're trying to fill the gaps
you
that
want-
people don't want to
yeah,
do.
you want slightly more skilled jobs. They can do product more productively.
Yes.
Rather than.
And
taking out stuff.
what's your workforce? How many?
Probably about 50 or 60, I think, at the moment.
And are they on a sort of rotation?
They are, but of those, probably about 30 doing active
Okay.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
Lots of engineers. We do lots of building and lots of new plants.
And
so we're
then
always developing
the other
stuff.
people are doing sales,
Sales,
and
marketing,
accounts,
accounts, all those
okay.
sorts of things. So it's
A lot of people.
a lot of stuff to do. And it's a vast amount of testing as well. So
Yeah.
you met some of the testers like
Yeah,
Alan
yeah.
and all the others. That's a key part to gluten-free. That's
Yeah.
why it's
Well, your
such
whole
hard
name is
work.
hinged on it.
Absolutely. So these all have to be gluten-free. You're selling it as that. You can't just
But
go, I'll do it cheaply.
the nice
I'll
thing
do it, I'll
about
do
your
it a bit
plant
badly.
is it's only doing oats, and it's only doing
Yeah.
gluten oats. So it's never
oats.
doing today it's doing this and today it's
No,
doing
you
that.
can't do that.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
So that's how you're trying to keep it clean.
Successfully. Yeah.
The actual physical wood pallet that they're sat on,
Yeah.
are you having to buy them?
Yes, yeah, they have to be bought.
And you never see them again?
No, they'll go away. I mean, you can have a reworked Chet pallets or what's the other one? IPL. Hang on.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, the other ones, the red ones,
the blue
red
ones.
or blue ones
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can have rental pallets. They all tend to be on those ones.
As those ones
so
are.
for some customers, they're part of this system. For some other ones, they're not really part of
pallets
that
are a
system.
nuisance for us. We get a huge amount of stuff on pallets.
You do.
And I have a skip just for pallets.
With pallets then. Yeah.
Maybe I'll start bringing them to you.
Well, I think you could. But yeah, so I mean, they have to be dry, they have to be everything.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Got to do the whole thing there.
Hence why you get them new.
Yeah,
Because you're stacking
they are
food on
new.
them.
You can't have.
You can't
any
have had them
risks.
on oil last time, for example.
No,
They've got
no,
to be.
definitely they've got to be all be good. I mean, so see, we had a long run last week.
I see each.
But this will clear out
each
this week.
forklift has a name.
They do. I know. That was Fiona.
I'm not. That's the forklift I like the least. No telling why.
Yes.
Oh, but it's not reliable. But ridden by many. Anyway, what have we got?
Is that going in?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Hey, did you see?
So how do you make an almond, coconut and soya?
Well, they're actually made in Italy by our partners out in Italy.
And then
so
packaged here?
we have another company which we work with very closely. We built the milk plant with, and they specialists in almond, soya and coconut. Allergen control, especially on nuts.
Yes.
You don't have any of that anywhere near you as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
soya's an allergen.
So you would
coconut's
never
fine.
want to do almond, for example, in the same factory as your gluten-free?
No. And,
Interesting.
British food producers are very much tighter on this probably than the rest of the world.
Okay.
So that's why it's just about making sure you don't have people
So
in
actually,
anaphylactic shocks
you
or die.
couldn't make that here anyway.
Not
You'd have
really,
to do
not-
it somewhere
not in
else.
practical sense, no.
Yeah.
It's not. You couldn't really. Weirdly enough, it's not quite so strong rules in
Okay.
Europe, but
Yeah.
here
Is the almond popular?
Almond is generally decreasing. Our almond's really nice.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice.
What's the most
almondy
popular
one,
then?
Marzipan-y one. Our oat milk, really. Oats
Okay.
growing massively.
Really?
It's still, I say massively.
Is
in
that
relative terms.
awareness?
It's still growing 4 or 5% of the year in total volume.
Sexy packaging? What is it?
For our stuff,
Yeah.
it's great.
'Cause it's nice packaging.
Packaging made a change over the last, actually after the Oatly trial, which made a great change in
Yeah.
packaging.
I mean, I love the name Pure Oaty.
You do?
I think it's a great name.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
a great name. Yeah, it took a lot anyway. It's an expensive name.
Yeah, and I think the packaging's really jolly. And what I like about
So
it is it's still connected with farming.
It is.
That's what's so nice about
that's
it.
really what got us going. It was.
You know, children picking this up in the house, they can still see, the way you portrayed the farm and etc. It's still connected with agriculture.
A lot of the stuff is pretty bland as well.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of make a change to that. There's a lot of connections with the British, on the British thing really, trying to get British oats in there. Because still most of the stuff's imported.
Yeah.
Which is, even with oats, we grow a lot of oats here as well.
Uh-huh.
So that's the great thing.
Hence why you've got the British flag.
Exactly.
What does it say on there?
It says 100% British oats.
You know, I've got,
100%
hold on,
British
I've got,
made.
I've got, I've got this, I've got this new problem now that's come about. Hold on. 100% British oats, 100% British made. Right. Yes, I know. I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I can't get into it. I could see anything 3 miles away. It's not a problem. I just can't see there.
The opposite thing. I can't see anything over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you have different sorts. I mean, you have different sorts of oat milk. So that's like a Bristol one.
Yeah.
It's actually the first one we made. Actually, all our oats work in. So the barista thing means it foams in coffee.
Is that right?
It's kind of become a shorthand for that. It tends to mean it's richer. Now, when we make with our lovely oats, we don't have to add extra stuff to make it, get the chemistry set out to make it foam.
No.
Actually, we could do that just with oats, tiny bit of rapeseed oil, obviously British made or sunflower oil.
Interesting.
And then you can make it foam. So we've done one for this. There's a rich and creamy one, which is my favourite as well.
Yeah.
Although probably about equivalent with, we just made a tea one. So
Yeah,
one that tastes just like, tastes just like milk, to be honest. You can't really tell a lot of difference. And that's kind of the evolution. If you make it do everything that milk does, dairy milk, standard cow's milk.
Because you've got here, look, 100% gluten-free, which is really important to some people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of link to milk intolerance
actually,
as well.
one of the key things here, which has sort of been driven home to me on this particular trip round, is the British thing, is how important that is, that this is actually pure British produced oats,
I think that's what we've got to drive for in the food industry. Get some.
And the fact that we grow oats for you that end up in this packaging.
Yeah.
And
And so the British farming and British food industry are fantastic. Why we've
Yeah.
gone to buy other stuff
Yeah.
when we don't even need to.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I think
it's
you would be one of very few that's probably putting this level of infrastructure packaging in, I would imagine. You know, the way you're going about this. I mean, this has grown dramatically to what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a massive journey, they call it, whatever.
Yeah.
But all this stuff is the last, taking what we got in gluten-free and making it work.
Do you guys ever
Taking
sit
it
back
through
and just see what you've done? Or
No,
is it
you're
actually...
always, just like you, I'm always looking forward.
Yeah, well, I know.
Next thing.
People say that
You've
to me,
almost
and I
forgotten
think,
about
no,
the-
I forgot that. I'm up with
I
that.
just- right,
I need to be
next
over
week,
there.
Next week. Yeah, I do get accused of it. Like, oh, can we just celebrate this? I'm thinking about the next
So,
one.
children-wise, you have 2 children, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
Boy and girl.
are they both in university?
One is, the other one's not, yeah.
So,
One's
where's the
finishing
succession plan?
School. I don't think of that.
You don't?
No, it's not responsibility. It's not their responsibility, is
But
it?
don't you think it's important that there is a succession plan? Or is it
And
not
did you always want to come back to
Well, that's what-
farming?
yes, always.
You did.
From
you
a
see,
baby.
You see, I love farming.
Yeah.
And then I went to do engineering
Yeah.
because Dad was around. Now,
Yeah.
when he passed away when I was 21 at university, Rebecca was doing that, so I was still
Yeah.
allowed to carry on and do engineering and
Okay.
technology
Yeah.
and all the fibre optics and lithium-ion batteries and all the other stuff I did.
Yeah, but
Went
you've
far.
got it. You're actually a doctor, aren't you, in
Yeah,
engineering?
So did a PhD and went
And
through
that's
a very
hence
high
why you were
technology.
able to actually build this plant.
It is,
and
just
apply a lot
learnt-
of your knowledge.
Learned stuff along the way, how to build.
Yeah,
Learned to be a chemical engineer effectively.
Yeah.
Although I started off as a mechanical one, did a whole load of electrical stuff, load of science, optics, all
Yeah.
sorts of other things. Not say optics.
so
ever so
you
useful
actually
here,
were
but
destined to go into building a plant like you have done, effectively, because
Well, if I hadn't done this, I would have probably built a lithium-ion battery factory instead. I did sort of build some of the starting bits of it. So I think
do you think
weirdly
then you
enough,
are the UK Elon Musk? Is that what you're saying?
could have done.
Could you?
Yes, it would be hard.
Yeah.
Better than that, though. Don't think it'd be quite as.
But so you don't think the succession part is anything to get hung up on?
I did other things and came back.
Yeah.
You should have enough drawing that you come back and do things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you think, oh, you have to train. I can't let them have my sights as farmers' sons. Now, my
Yeah.
kids didn't grow up like we did. I was sitting on combines for about 5 or 6 years old. So
Yeah.
was Rebecca. We were doing loads of stuff. So whether they've got quite that much enjoyment of it, I don't
Yeah.
know. But Robert's,
Slightly- you mean slightly more
fascinated by the
detached?
business. Robert
Yes.
loves the business.
Well,
and
that's the
stuff.
great thing about this. There's so many different elements that
Yeah.
they could go into.
It is, yeah. And bigger businesses, you don't do one thing.
No.
Farming's very, very strange that you know a vast amount of stuff about everything. I know
Yeah.
one of my professors, a very good guy from Cranfield, he said, I can't believe how much you have to know farming.
Yes.
It's right the way from food, so we're touching on the whole bits of the food industry.
Yeah.
From, dealing with DEFRA and the government to all the way through growing crops to to making food and all the quality standards you got there and dealing with other manufacturers and supplying them what they want, which is reliability. They also want it cheap, but they also, actually, they really wanted reliability. That's what they really needed,
Yeah,
because we kind of understand manufacturing. Now, when you go to retail, you got to present that to supermarkets and they just want it to sell. So they just, sell and make as much money as possible
Yeah,
on there.
yeah,
So how
yeah.
you get that
Well, that's actually a
end-to-end.
relatively simple model, isn't it? The supermarket model, when you look at it. Bring
No,
the stuff
it's-
in from other
it's-
people,
it's-
sell it to somebody else,
That's right.
take the margin in the
Make
middle.
them finance the shelf stock.
And that's where we struggle in farming, isn't it? But there are so many aspects which have been thrown at people. To, like the wet weather now, we can't get on to drill and things. We've got to get hampered by issues like that, but don't allow us to crack on and make that guaranteed return.
But we're still two stops away from final retail.
Yes.
And the only thing it does go there is fresh produce, which has then been hard
Yeah.
up against that
Yeah.
super competitive
Well,
market.
you're
there.
effectively closing the gap in this model.
Well, hopefully, yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Now, when and that was kind of Rebecca's original idea, is to make food products that we grow. We're doing it. Oh, it was quite. Yeah.
And why oats?
Got a long
Why
time.
did you fall on oats? What was the reason?
Because they tick all the boxes in the gluten-free. So you kind of look for something that works.
What was the drive
because you
of
can't
gluten
start
free
off-
though? What made
We've
you?
been doing it before. We've been doing spelt.
Yeah.
And then you tend to meet people who've got tummy complaints, like Ed, who you had
Yeah,
on.
we saw Ed
obviously
the other
our
day.
mutual friend Ed. Ed had
That's
a
right.
problem with wheat.
Yeah.
So even though he was farming with loads of wheat, he
Yeah.
still had
Couldn't actually
So then
eat
he
it.
started going to a spelt. He said actually after a bit, that kind of controlled his Crohn's, I think he had, and then he went on to being having a gluten-free diet as well.
Right.
He's not celiac, but it kind of works for him. You know, and that's what most people say. It works for me.
So you've
I'm
almost
not
fallen
celiac.
into it.
So yes, it was driven by people asking for it, and then we were the first one in Europe to do it.
Oh, in Europe?
Oh yeah, so we set that up, set the quality standard. So how we ended up doing oat milk was we were selling oats to Southern Europe to make plant milks. So we met guys there who were similar family business.
Yeah.
Who went, oh, well, let's start off and build a plant.
Yeah.
And bring it to UK as well. So it was the first milk plant, first gluten-free oat mill as well. So you keep on thinking.
The reason it's
what you
called
can do
Glebe
next.
Farm is because it is actually the name of the
Actually,
farm.
Glebe Farm. Yeah. That's not very creative.
Bit
on
like
that one.
Scotland Farm. Yeah, people ask me, why is it called Scotland Farm? Are you Scottish? No.
Radically.
No.
Got an R&D lab in there. I won't show you anything in there because it's unfortunately got
secret.
other people's brands in there that we have to protect the innocent again.
So that's where you're doing testing as well. We're seeing where you always are in the
We're doing massive amount testing, loads of stuff where we're actually developing new recipes.
Oh,
So we've got about 3 or 4 different types of oat milk, all very subtly. And also doing a coconut, doing other sorts of things where we're using more and more, even other crops as well, turning them in. Where they're gluten-free, you've got to run with them as well. The process is quite similar for different crops. And how actually, once you've learned how to do one, we're very, got some really good guys, very innovative in doing things.
So these are your milk fats.
So these as part of the process, you're taking oats of different forms, flakes or flour, making a porridge, and then you're breaking that porridge down into pretty much like oat milk. You then got to sieve off all the big bits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different because you have to heat treat it. So if you took oats and just heated them up, and then you'd make porridge,
So
would you? Which is glue.
one piece of oat there. So what's the percentage of that can you make into milk?
Oh God. If you had an oat from the field, just a rough idea, you'd have to put per litre, you'd have to put about 250 grams, 300 grams, well, anywhere between 200 and 300 grams of oats to make that litre of milk.
Okay. So this is the TetraPack line.
So this is it's going to make something called 1 litre edge, although it can make half litre packs as well.
Okay.
I picked it because it is a it should be a very reliable product thing.
This looks expensive, Philip.
It is very
How
expensive.
expensive?
Very expensive.
I won't
talk numbers.
Share with us.
In the several millions, yeah.
Oh, in the millions.
Several millions.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, and to get all the services to supply that, it is probably in
So
more than the several millions.
This is into the substantial. Okay.
This is buying a big farm.
Oh really?
this sort of level, the whole kit, everything putting together there. So this is taking paper. Yeah, these processes, you've got to be absolutely reliable. So this is going to produce something that's going to be sitting around, one bug, you've got a bit of a problem. Packs can blow, and then you've got milk everywhere, sitting in somebody's warehouse or in this.
So that paper's is that sterilised?
So that paper is actually, so that is taken as that. It's pretty clean, it's not sterile at the moment. That goes through there. It's got an injection moulder and a seal, so actually you kind of make the whole package here in the machine. Okay, got it. That takes, that bit in there is an injection moulder, so it actually puts the neck and the cap in there. Yeah. But you can't see it going. Actually, we're going tomorrow morning. This bit's creating a little neck in there. Actually, you can actually see it. There's a sort of the back of the neck in there, so it creates. I don't know if it's very visible there, Tom, but so that makes the collar. Then it will wrap that paper round. So it'll then sterilise that with hydrogen peroxide, and then wrap it round into a tube that's pulled down here. Okay. So this has got little walkie things that pull down the paper. It's all full of milk. So the sterile milk comes from next door. Next door is that load of pipes and machinery there. Yeah. Brings sterile milk across there. And then this will then, and it's all cleaned. So today they're actually CIPing it. It's a clean in place, sterilise, steam sterilise it in the morning when they're ready. Totally nothing going on there at all, nice and clean. Then this will fill up with milk. Big tube is made, so it sort of makes a collar. A pipe goes in the centre there. All heat boxes and everything to keep everything out there, positive pressure, and then it will just pull down packets and make sachets of them. And then this little bit here, if it says they're okay to run with and it's happy with the seal, it will then bend over and make that TetraPack. But they're actually come down as a little pouch. So imagine a tube that you just nip the two tops off. It's obviously the right place, nip the tops off, and then it just bend the ears over and bend the bottom ears under.
And how many can you do a minute?
This will do, oh God, a minute will do 120. So 150
individual, 150
120 minute, yeah.
Individuals.
Packs, yeah. It'll do 2 to 3 a second.
Crumbs.
So it is smashing them out.
So it's
so
quick.
You've then got to handle that stuff. I mean, that sort of spiral thing there is actually an accumulator to handle any backing up of the line from the robot next door and the case backer. We put lids on. So you see the little thing over there with the white things there. That's actually putting a cap on each one and welding that cap on.
Yeah. Why? Do yours have a tin foil lid inside?
It has a tin foil lid so it can weld it to the plastic.
Okay.
So it actually does a little heat weld. I'll take one of these out of here. Screwed on, this beautiful bit orientates it in the right order, checks it's in the right place with cameras and stuff, screws it on, a bit around the other side, screws it on, and then does a little inductive weld, which heats that bit up and welds it to the little plastic bit inside there. Then when you rip open the cap, like so, that bit stays on there and it tears out the centre of the pack. But you can also, it's a really good pack actually.
And you have to buy this all from TetraPack, do you?
You do, yeah. This is new technology, so it's all from TetraPack. TetraPack supply this one, and yeah, it's a good package.
Am I right in saying TetraPack was invented in the UK?
I don't know, to be honest. Okay. He lives in the UK. I think the Rouses live here.
I thought he was English, but I might be wrong.
No, they're Norwegians. I think now it's Norwegian company, or Swedish Norwegian company, I think generally. But yeah, so this is making packs. These are coming off here. We've then got to wrap them in, put them in a box really. So next door we're putting them in a box, palletising them and stacking them on a rack.
So Philip, this guy's coming round with the loader.
Yep.
That's your husk?
No, that's actually oats.
Oh, that's the oats.
So flat store.
So that's the oats coming out the grain store?
That is, yeah.
Right, okay.
So that's oats coming out the grain store.
So this forklift then?
He's probably cleaning up and removing ash from there, I think, or something
so
like
those bins up there?
So these blow lines that come along the top there, they're delivering the chaff from the jet filters, which are like massive vacuum cleaners.
For a small pipe like that?
Blown through there,
They don't block?
No, put
enough wind behind it.
Yeah. Dropping those silos, we built a control system so we can feed that out. This stuff's pretty light and fluffy. It's really horrible. You know, slightest bit of damp, it'll stick.
Yeah, get stuck in the silo.
Yeah. So there is an awful lot of work with this, a lot of sort of maintenance trying to get it running. It does keep you occupied. This thing. This is probably the thing that breaks down the most.
Okay.
The feed systems,
So you haven't actually got this quite right. If you were to sit down and rebuild it.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But all boilers cause you problems. They run hot. They got even gas boilers are pretty high maintenance. They don't just sit.
So the chaff is going into a lit boiler, and the boiler is lit permanently.
That gets fed in there. Boiler's pretty much running most of the time. Yeah. That will then so chaff gets fed in on demand through little augers. Yeah. Put into there, fed in. The boiler controls it and controls its oxygen. And then this is the flue coming out there where you have a jet filter on the output.
It's not smoking, is it?
No, you have a filter on the output which takes off all the ash, cleans it out, so you get very.
You wouldn't know. No. Because a question I had was about are you getting a lot of stuff coming out the chimney and then blowing onto.
Not on this one. Not on this one. It's a very, very new one. So
on the original one, is it a bit more sooty?
The older ones didn't have the same regulations on them.
Right.
They are going to be upgraded eventually, but or upgrade or we have to change it to something else. But yeah, these ones are amazing. Quite amazing. We'll have a look inside.
And then the ash, you then apply to land as like a fertilizer.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
just
P and
like
K in
does.
there. Yeah, loads of P and K in there.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing going on.
And how many tons of ash would you produce in a year, just as an example?
Don't know, a couple of hundred.
Okay, and in terms of chaff, how many tons of chaff?
Go in, Tom. Chaff, it's a few
don't know, a few thousand, yeah.
A few thousand tons of chaff.
Tons of chaff.
Right.
And the volume of that chaff is enormous.
Yeah, because it
So you've got
bulks
very,
up.
very low density. It's got
Weighs nothing.
Yeah, so
So if you didn't have this, did it come about that you were producing so much chaff, you thought, what am I going to do with it? And then that led you to the biomass boiler, or did the other part?
No, it's a win-win. You
Yeah.
got a load of chaff, you got to handle it
Yeah.
and find somebody who wants to buy it.
And I love the way it's blowing straight in.
And you, yeah, so it's
So you
pretty,
don't even
it's pretty
touch it.
maintenance free. So we
Yeah.
probably won't touch it today, but last night it did stop for a random reason. Something got stuck there. You normally have to check it every day.
Is this, who
So
makes
this is a steam boiler. This is a Danish one.
Oh, Danish again?
It's a Danish one, yeah.
Yeah.
All boilers tend to be Danish. They've set up their industry
Okay.
over the years, supported
Because
it in vast
actually
amounts of
you're
stuff.
running Kimbria equipment in the shed, which is, you know, like I am in the grain stores.
Yeah.
And
So-
they're Danish again.
They are a good manufacturing basis,
Yeah.
yeah, which we seem to have lost in Britain. Which is
Have
very
you been to
upsetting,
the
isn't it?
factory over there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we should do. Yeah, I've been to this one. Yeah, and this one. So this one.
Well,
is
maybe
is
you'll
a-
come
is a
with
good
us, 'cause
boiler.
we're going to have a look.
I'm even trying to help other oat millers trying to put these in. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
really?
a really good general thing to have. Why you've got all this lovely fuel? Why are you then not using it for your demand that you need to have on there?
So you actually
and
you are
will make
sharing
surplus full.
you are sharing ideas with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk along with.
Oh, fantastic! I don't know
Sometimes
what
the
it is about fire. I could watch it for hours. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's from my childhood.
Well, you missed the straw burning era, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did. No, as a child, I used to lose my eyebrows and my
You're a bit-
hair up the arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, straw burning.
Arsonists and well, the main problem with straw burning, apart from obviously creating a load of soot, was the people who stare at it and have accidents.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
part of the
true.
key thing. So this is all controlled. This will actually, we built a control system that
Yeah.
feeds all the augers in time, gives you alarms, monitors all the temperatures, pressures, everything else like
Where's
that.
the water
Feeds in
then?
water.
Is that the water?
Hot water coming in here. That's actually also heated as well by surplus heat there. We recover that from the milk plant.
Yeah.
They're making hot water now. By recovering, when they make the milk, you heat it up at temperature and then you cool it down to put in the
My
tanks there.
goodness.
So you recover that heat
Yeah.
and you make hot water. Now we tend to have a surplus of it, so we'll bring it over here. This is still clean.
And
We're not
repurpose
mixing
it.
Repurpose it, use that heat to put in the boiler there. That then goes over there. This one actually has a de-aerator.
Okay.
So you put in and raise it slightly above 100 degrees C to take the oxygen out.
Yeah.
That gives you much lower corrosion in your boiler, basically.
Oh,
And it
interesting.
economises, which then heat that water up even further. You use exhaust gas.
Are
to
you on the
recover.
same water as we are? You're on lime scale water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
chalky water.
You soften it, or you
Are
can
you
soften it,
softening?
or even reverse osmosis. So you
Right.
You actually
Yeah, because I mean
purify
our
it.
kettles and things always
yeah.
fur up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's actually throughout the country.
Yeah.
We always think every area thinks they've got the hardest water.
Yeah.
Unless you're in West Scotland.
Yeah.
But here, almost everywhere has hard water.
And that process is dealing with that, is it?
No, that's dealt with. We actually make soft water or RO water
Okay.
for various processes. If you're going to heat it up, you would be lined solidly with.
Yeah.
So this will produce about 1.5 tons.
So your water's not coming from the mains,
It is originally,
but it goes into a water
but then you're
softener,
softening it, get rid of the calcium,
and then from that is coming into the lines.
and then eventually it's coming into the line.
Got
But
it.
then we may also reverse osmosis, which is dropping all the
Yeah.
all the
And
stuff
I'm
out there.
assuming because it's food, you wouldn't be able to take it off the roofs. And
Oh no,
rate-
you don't do that. You want you have
Has to be
you
clean and
have to monitor your
constant.
water. Obviously, when you're making steam, it's all sterile because
Yeah.
steam is an incredibly aggressive environment.
Yeah.
Where you're putting in, nothing can live in steam. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of the most. It's like a toxic material. It'll kill anything.
Yeah.
Live steam, it's horrible stuff. Yeah. But this boiler will make about 1.5 tons of steam, and steam is power. Steam is heat power.
Yeah.
So that's about 1 megawatt. So we can use up to 2 megawatts when we're running hard in various things. The flaking line will use a lot less than that. So we have surplus in this one to be able to do other things.
Interesting.
It's really good.
Oh, interesting. But you turn it into soft. I can understand it, because I could just see how actually you'd be having to replace pipes and goodness knows what. The way that would all start to fur up.
Oh yeah. You can't. You'd be
Yeah.
very careful about stuff coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even this water's treated so that
deposit nice protective chemicals in the boilers.
Yes.
Because yeah, these need a lot.
Yeah.
A fair bit
There's a
looking
lot
up,
of
a fair bit
control in
setting
what
up.
you're doing, isn't there?
Oh, yeah,
a lot
vast
of
amount.
checking, a lot all the way down.
amount, yeah.
Even the basic things, there's checking.
Yeah. So you saw Ed's boiler. So that's
Yeah.
a hot water boiler. We've got another one of those. Quite so pretty, this one. But the that one, yeah, they're a lot easier. So
Yeah.
steam gets another
Yeah.
level of safety, because these things historically, say in the 1950s and 40s, used to blow up. So you've got to be regulated absolutely tightly that they will never overpressure.
Yeah.
They'll never do anything else.
And
there.
I love this clean building environment if you've got a boiler in.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
These are very smart tanks. Where have these come from?
Well, these are actually the ones from Oatley. So these are from Peter. Well, they won't even go to Peterborough.
Oh, these are ones they'd ordered and bought and paid for, and then they've now given up
Well,
the
they've
idea.
they've now canned the factory.
You've bought them.
So that's right. So yeah. So we're going to use.
Are these for milk?
We're going to use some of these for oil.
Okay.
So we can bulk buy oil.
Oh, when you said about the rapeseed oil.
that helps to get very high quality oil that we can then use, because we can get British stuff.
Yeah.
It tends to be the British manufacturing isn't putting it into IBCs.
So where will you get the British oil from? The rapeseed oil?
So that'll probably be from Erith, the crushing plant down
Okay,
there.
right, yeah.
And getting the right grade is very
Yeah.
important. You can get
All
long-term.
of our rape last year actually went all the way up to Stratford.
Right. Okay.
They call it yellow.
Yellow.
It went there
Okay.
this year.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, and you've got to store oil in the right way that you don't get degradation, because it oxidizes as well. So you've got to be careful, keep it in the right, and it's massively important. In fact, that's probably our second biggest ingredient. Oats making like 99% of what we do, but yeah.
So does it come in a in a tanker?
Tanker? Yeah, currently we get an IBCs, we're actually moving to
So you're
tankers.
moving to tankers,
and
yeah?
it's not really about a tanker, which obviously saves you a little bit of money,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
actually the important thing is getting
Regular
absolute
supply.
reliability on your product quality. So when I can buy from the manufacturer directly, you can get very good product that you know you're going to get there. As soon as you start dealing with traders, it can go off.
And also, if you have an
an
IBC and you have 100 of those, one for a better word, you don't know what stock that all came out of. Whereas you get
exactly, yeah.
36,000 litres of oil.
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Keep it under a blanket. You can do all the right sort of things there. Keep it under a I'm talking about an oxygen-free blanket, not actually a physical blanket. But yeah, you can actually control that much better and get a much better quality result.
Yeah.
Makes
So
an
it's,
awful lot of difference.
everything you're doing is tiny little measurements all the way along.
And actually making everything more and more reliable as you go as well.
Yeah.
You're removing.
So what's in these stores?
I'm going to try. We're just going to try and open one of these ones. See if we can get. One which hasn't got any oats in there. I could do that again, and we get a nice one. Get a nice. I should have done that with a nice store behind, full of oats there. No, we walked
That's
the
all
wrong
right.
one. We walked the wrong one.
We'll get that. So, is this you segregating from farms?
This is segregating from farms, yeah.
So this is how you're keeping a track of what comes in off a farm. You tip it in their own allotted bay. You're doing your extra checks, making sure you're happy with it before it starts to make its way into the process line.
That's right. So every pack of oat milk, every packet, every sack of oat, whatever, we know
You've
the
got
farm,
full
we know the
traceability.
farm that it came from.
And you could go down to the field and etc. because you can go back to the
If we've got
farmer.
field information in there, it's probably
because they're your
probably one
farmers,
field
one
in
for a
there.
better word, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is
gives you the full traceability.
This is from Mike Frey. So I went to school with Mike as well. So and they grow for us over many years.
Yeah.
So we know many of the farmers have been with us 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years even.
Yeah.
And then that means that we know exactly where it came from. We can find all those things. I can trace it. Yeah. So it is a superpower of what we're doing to be able to know about farming, which is key. That's a key thing. Really,
there wouldn't be many businesses unless they were, say, a butcher's shop where they would have that level of connection.
Almost never.
Yeah.
They talk about traceability, but it's sort of vague thing. You know, if you're putting stuff into a
But you actually know these families. You actually know these crops. Yeah.
Yeah. So all these we keep that through the plant. So when those bags of groats that you saw, those big white bags, They were named still with the farmer on there, so we know that and then
That batch.
Roman will keep that when he's milling and turning it
Yeah.
into flakes. That information goes into that flaking record. So somebody comes and says, "What about this one? Where did it come from?" I can actually tell you that
Yeah.
as well. So
Extraordinary.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
amazing.
Could you print it on the pack and say this?
Yeah.
It tends to get a bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that you've seen that campaign about the fake farms as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a very key part.
Is that a threat to you, the fake farms?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, you occasionally get some weird people saying, "Oh, your brand looks a bit own label," and you go, "Hang on, it's not. It's genuine stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the rest of it that's own label,
Yeah.
the own label stuff." So it's a, it shouldn't happen really because it's giving an illusion.
It's appalling.
I think it's misrepresenting what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
doing, and it's a really quite a serious. Well, especially if you're not even buying it from Britain, and you're getting fresh produce from other places. Well, they have
And then packaging it
seasonal
as such.
variations, but packaging it as though it's from some fluffy farm in wherever. With a picture of a guy chewing a bit of straw. So, yeah.
Interesting.
So genuine
Shall I-
test on here.
Do you think,
We're gonna
do you
try
think,
it.
do you think
Now,
we should do blindfold where you get normal milk, but you won't have normal milk here, will you?
I don't think we have. Have we? Yeah, we've got some in the fridge. Got some in the fridge.
Oh no, they're HR issue now. That's a real HR issue, isn't it?
It's not really.
Is it? Are they being trotted next door?
Try it. Actually, let's just
Go on then.
try it.
Go,
and see,
go.
see if
Okay,
you like it.
okay.
So that's that. I mean, obviously, people don't tend to drink milk in the flesh. I can always get a. That's that one. I just pulled two of the same thing out. I just pulled
You
two out of
did,
the
yeah.
same thing.
You did.
All right, let's try another one. That's that. All
It's
right.
extraordinary how you can taste the oat. You know, from when we're in the plant, you can smell the oat. You can taste the smell.
You can taste.
Do you know? It's a strange thing to say, but you can taste the smell.
I can probably taste it in my coffee more than I can smell it.
So that one has got a bit of a nose taste. It's actually my favourite.
That's the
I had
creamy
that in
one you
tea.
like
That's
the most.
creamy one.
Yeah.
Try that one as well. That should be a pretty. That's a very neutral one.
That should taste more like.
Oh, this is the one for tea.
This is the one for tea because tea you want almost no flavour at all with it.
How interesting.
So it should
It's
have a s-
thinner.
It should have a subtle. Yeah, this one is rich and creamy. There's a bit clue there. It's thinner. So it's a little bit like semi-skim milk.
It's actually completely different texture.
It is. Yeah. Same oats. Foam. So normally they say barista is when it foams and you can put it into coffee, and you can do.
I quite like that, you know.
It's all right. Quite tolerable.
Yeah.
Tolerable, is it?
I suppose you're almost making one for everybody's taste, aren't you?
For every occasion.
That is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or for every
So
occasion.
that tea-rific.
So you might
Put
use the
tea-rific
creamy
there.
for your coffee,
Well,
and then go with the tea for.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this kind of works in everything. But it focuses on tea.
Oh, you'd use that with cereal,
We've just
wouldn't
had
you?
Oatly copying us as well, so they've gone and done a tea. Their milk works in tea, but
Nice name.
This is tea-rific.
Yeah.
We like a pun here. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't like paying for marketing people, but
No, he makes it up himself, does he?
we got something out.
No,
of
I
that.
do. I love marketing. On camera out.
Oh, good.
And then what else we that's granola. Look at that. I didn't show you that one either. So that's we
Cocoa.
make the granola, make the porridge. So that's just porridge off there. Beautiful pack. Really beautiful pack. That's
Nice.
granola.
I love the whole brand.
That granola's really nice actually. It's just the
Is that what you have for your breakfast?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Does get so the health benefits of those. It actually helps control diabetes because that's what holds me down. Actually, keeps it in there, stops you feeling full. Honestly, it does work.
I don't think you're an advert
I'm on
though
the edge.
for.
I'm on no, that works.
What, for
And
dieting?
That's what Michael Mosley actually. He was. That's why he came and did something on oats.
Well, he's doing it.
because he was doing. He actually.
Are you
used
saying
oats
I've got
and
to
almonds.
eat your oats now for my diet?
Yeah. Well, any issues with? We've got those wonderful issues with. What else we got? Yeah. So these are the different oats. These are the different sorts of oats you do. Go through a bit of a run through there. So that's, if you like, that's a muesli oat. So there's a medium. You can't really tell a lot of difference there. But you also have the cut ones. So traditionally, you'd have porridge looking like these, which are kind of a cut oat. So they're a much smaller.
Can I smell them?
A smaller oat flake. Those have been in there probably about a year or two, so they're
No,
probably
they
not
don't
so,
smell.
quite so fresh looking. But those are much smaller oats. So that would tend to be what you get on a porridge.
Right.
but actually gluten-free tends to be whole flakes. And I think the reason is because we started off and we didn't, you have to cut. So what happens, you get the groat, that little grain, and you cut it.
Yeah.
And then you flake it as a cut coat. It makes a smaller flake. So you can make a thinner, smaller, better flake. When we started out, we didn't have a groat cutter to cut it. So most gluten-free tends to be the bigger flakes.
Okay.
It's sort of become a tradition there.
Okay.
But, and I think technology moves on, you can actually do that. And then we also make flour, and this stuff is like a biscuit flour.
Yeah.
And you can make lovely cookies, you make cakes,
Nice.
bread.
So Philip and I were just driven down to St Ives Morrisons, which isn't far from the farm, probably under 10 minutes. We just come to have a look, and all of the Glebe Farm oat milk are sold out. Now that in itself is a really good sign.
That's a good sign. Yeah,
Philip's
better if there's,
frustrated.
there should be
He's
more.
frustrated.
We're hoping there's more.
We met
of
a
it.
wonderful lady a moment ago who works here. She's gone to the back. She's looked on this thing. It said that it's sold out and they're waiting for delivery. So she's going to see if the delivery's here to get it restocked. So a good problem and a bad problem all in one.
That's right. So Morrisons stopped it, I think it's nearly for 2 years now. So and that was on their Best of British campaign. So they actually have started this quite early on. They
Okay.
actually put it
So they've
together.
been
it's
good
really,
supporters.
Really good supporters. Yeah. So they did have a
Yeah.
good campaign on British farming.
Yeah.
I think we could help them boost it along. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Just a quick, where is this made?
So these will be made in Netherlands or Sweden. You can actually tell if you have a little look under the TetraPack corner. That one's NL, Netherlands.
Oh, that's how you tell.
So that's Netherlands.
So, for example, here,
That'll be Spain, I believe.
is that a Spanish name?
So that's the Spanish one. Yes, yeah.
Right, none of them are brandishing anywhere a British flag, are they?
No. Not if our mum was actually made in the UK. Packed in the UK.
So have I got to keep looking in the corners?
That's the British one.
You're obviously a dab hand at this.
It is just under the corner tabs there. This one's Italian.
Well, this is ridiculous, Philip.
Glasses.
Yeah, can you look on
Italy.
your glasses?
I don't
see
need
it.
glasses. That one is actually GB as well.
Is it
Yeah,
GB?
packed in GB. But a lot of those are using syrups or other things as well. So not necessarily using oats. They're just packed in Britain.
How interesting. So
There are mixes of different ones.
so the shopper wouldn't actually potentially know quite how it's made just from picking up a packaging.
You don't necessarily know.
They'd have to do the
difficult to
research.
tell, yeah. They've done a good job in promoting
Oat milk. Yeah.
and also low carbon as well,
Yeah.
because they put the footprint on it. Now ours, that says 0.44, 0.48. Ours is 0.26 to give a comparison. So
But you
ours
don't put
is
that on
nearly-
your front.
Oh, we do actually now. Yeah, that's coming on the new packs. So yeah, actually it's even lower than that.
And you're not making the chocolate one though.
It's just a matter of time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, chocolates are not ever so popular in oat milks.
I'm surprised.
It tends to be. Yeah. It's
Well, I'm surprised they can
coming.
get the powder, can't they, and
It's-
mix it
It's
themselves.
coming. You can do lots of other things. It tends to be people like it for most things you use milk for.
Yeah.
And then you have So, but most of these are TetraPack.
Yeah.
You see, there's differences. These are the lids that we've got. These sort
So
of
we need
flip-top-
shares,
these
don't we, in
flip-top lids.
Tetra Pak?
TetraPack are fairly useful shares.
Yeah, I'd say they would be good shares. If we just look at the prices, so this is your brand, so you can get it for £1.50,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that's like a
So that's on a promo, but
Yeah.
185.
is the standard
But it's
price.
still very well priced in there, competitively priced, even though it's gluten free and
190,
everything else like that.
215. So actually, buying
actually
British,
cheaper.
supporting Britain, you're not paying for it.
And this is barista grade, so you can actually do whatever else you need to do.
Couldn't find any.
Oh no.
To be fair, I couldn't find any long mark films at all like that
Really?
on the palette. So
Does it go quickly? Because while we were stood here, a lady came in. She grabbed the Weed Health. What do you drink? You drink the dairy milk.
A mix of both.
Oh, you do the oat milk as well?
Yeah.
Why?
Quite like it.
Okay.
Yeah. It just depends.
You like the taste?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So which one do you buy? Which one?
Glebe Farm, actually. I haven't had it.
You
haven't?
No, not yet.
Do you know that we actually only make it about 5-6
Yeah, I
miles
know.
away from this? Well, there you go.
It's him.
It's me. It's our farm.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And James grows the oats as well. So,
Yeah, I grow the oats. He processes them.
Well,
He-
we
yeah.
grow them as well, but yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry, yeah. So that was interesting. So going into Morrisons, obviously we're not far from the factory, so it's probably food miles wise, this is about as efficient as it gets, apart from you've got village shops, for
I think it
example,
is,
Houghton
yeah.
and
That's right.
That-
Johnson's and
Johnson,
places, yeah.
they're doing it. And then you've got here, and they've actually sold out, but they're waiting for a new delivery. So that's actually encouraging, that they've got other stuff there, but yours is selling out. So people,
It is.
you know,
we
are
doing,
enjoying
we
the
are
taste.
doing really well in Morrisons.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, it's a great, and some of the shops, probably where they've got more presentation on there, yeah, we're in several percent of their oat milk.
Yeah.
So it is.
And
it's
just
a massive
just a key
success.
point you just told me inside, which I thought was interesting. When we looked at the other people's, they were showing their carbon,
That's right. Yeah.
and they were advertising 0.44, and you were actually saying that
So
you
on here, 0.26.
Is it?
Yeah, these ones haven't yet got it. We're going to put that on soon.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got 0.26 on there. Probably wants to be a bit banging out there, to be honest. But I think
well,
we
it's
can-
just interesting that effectively it's half the amount of carbon
It is,
you've got
yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
So if people are worried about carbon for whatever reason, then actually, you
Yeah.
know, yours is really leading the way.
That's right. And that's the new tea. So that one's actually going on the shelves, I think, in the next 2 or 3 months or so.
Oh,
So that's
it's
getting
new.
launched. So, yes, that's a new one. That is
Oh, so
brand new.
am I like
in fact,
a
you
guinea
are
pig?
you are actually getting something that was only made at the beginning of the month.
I really enjoyed
The
it.
tea Rific's brand new.
Yeah, I
there
really
you go.
enjoyed
We
it
have been
because I wouldn't
working
want
for a long
something
time.
creamy necessarily in my tea.
No, it's totally neutral.
Yeah.
So you can,
Yeah,
you could even. I mean, so we do a lot in food service, and that'd be like contract caterers. So if you went to the rugby at Twickenham, say, or you went to Jockey Club,
Yeah.
or some place like that, there are caterers who then just sort of take care of all the catering. And in those places, there's a company that actually is giving plant-based products a try. So
Okay.
they're not necessarily announcing it widely.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you can ask for dairy, but
Yeah.
actually defaulting for puddings and
oh, defaulting.
defaulting for that. So
How
actually,
so what? Just
and
because they're
people-
worried about having to
people
ask people if they've got
well,
intolerance?
I think it
or-
kicks off, but yeah, it does help with intolerances.
Yeah,
All of
yeah.
a sudden, you wipe that issue away.
Yeah, yeah.
There are. I mean, nuts are a bad anaphylactic shock as well.
Yeah.
So if people, you don't know, you're in catering, people are doing random things all the time. It's hell of a thing to organise, and so they very key on allergens and making sure it's right, and it works.
Well, it's been
for
an
them,
excellent trip round. Ever so grateful.
That'd be good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's amazing because I mean I saw it, you know, obviously when we started farming for you 5-6 years ago, and to look at it now, I mean it's day and night.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
you-
we've got enormous leaps and
You must
bounds.
feel
Yeah,
proud. I know you'll say you don't
Oh,
think
just-
about
you
it.
just think about
I
the-
know you do.
What
I
you're
know
going to
you
do
do.
next, what you're going to do next,
I know
moving
you
on
do.
all the time.
Anyway, you
They're
can think
wonderful.
about the succession.
Think about succession. Let's probably do
Yeah,
next.
you
We've
can
still
think
got plenty of
about
time to
succession
worry about
next,
that.
yeah.
Plenty of time
Unless
to worry
you've got
about
some breeding left in you.